As you probably know by now, Carlos Sainz has been signed to Williams for 2025 and 2026, and that has a lot of meaning behind it. Beyond the obvious, which is that he's been signed to the team, Logan Sargent has been essentially kicked out in his place because Alexander Albon, who is also signed to the Williams team for 2025 and 2026, will be taking the other seat. So there's a 0% chance that Logan Sargent finds another seat at Williams, as there's only two. Now, I mean, no hate, but it's not a very big surprise. Right here, is all of Logan Sargent's last results, which aren't exactly the best. A lot of people are upset with this, at least Logan Sargent fans, because he has nowhere to go. It's possible that he's going to be getting a seat in IndyCar, which is the going theory, but in my opinion, after the 2023 season, he didn't really deserve a seat at the team. So the fact that he got 2 years there just because James Vowles seemed to love the guy is really a good thing for him. Regardless, it looks like he's going to be getting a seat with the new Prima IndyCar team, which I'll be covering the second that that news actually drops officially. But as of right now, it is the going theory. Carlos Sainz has been, as Kevin Magnussen said, holding up the driver's market for a few months now, ever since the Lewis Hamilton move to Ferrari was announced. So it's really nice that this has finally gotten over the way, and it really didn't block anyone because there was no other true considerates for that Williams seat other than Kimi Antonelli, and it seems like he's going to Mercedes, and that's kind of been the vibe from Toto, unless they can sign Max Verstappen from whatever Red Bull is these days. Now, the driver, Carlos Sainz, had really two options on the table after the Alpine one was kind of not looking as good, which was Williams and Sauber. And Sauber's turning into Audi, and that's really where I thought he was going to go, considering the 2026 deal. But it looks like Williams has something probably in their back pocket that only Carlos Sainz knows. And maybe Audi really isn't that true to form yet. Now, we're never really going to know until the 2026 season starts, but I do feel like this is a really bad start for the Audi team because they got Nico Hulkenberg, which, as Gunther Steiner has said on multiple occasions, is a really good driver, but is he really that good for a team that wants to lead the pack, considering he's never gotten a podium ever in his career? And also, they'll probably have to sign someone like Teo Porcher or maybe even keep Bottas, but I imagine they'll probably just take Teo Porcher up for 2026. That leaves the only real seats to be up for grabs is the Mercedes seat, which is still empty, presumably Kimi Antonelli's, but I mean, I feel as though they would take anyone as well. And then also the Alpine seat, which is presumably Jack Doohan's, but I would also imagine that Alpine will take whoever they want, possibly even Kevin Magnussen, which I don't think is the right play, but it would be nice to kind of get the veterans still in, but we'll see. And then also, whatever happens with that RB seat, possibly Liam Lawson or even Isaac Hadjar, as if he had a good practice session that first time. But in my personal opinion, this move for Carlos Sainz was a terrible one. I am very confident that he could have bargained any way possible. I mean, that Mercedes seat should have been his because Kimi Antonelli can just spend a year at Williams. I just think that he got cocky and wanted a seat for long term, which is now probably going to result in him getting P13 every race. Therefore, not a great trade. Carlos Sainz has had a pretty fortunate career with teams, with Red Bull, with McLaren, with Renault, and, well, maybe Renault's not that great, and with Ferrari having a decent streak after 2020. So why would he choose to go to Williams? And in my opinion, there's only one clear answer. Williams is that one seat on the grid that it just seems wrong that after their historic, championships, that it's not in the front. And what if Carlos Sainz knows something? Now, I don't think Williams has anything in the bag for 2025. After all, Carlos Sainz was just kind of forced to make the move quicker. Maybe Williams would have kept on to Logan Sargent for one more year because they knew that in 2026 they would be able to improve the car in the new regulations and just blast forward the grid. It's probably the only team with the funding to do that in 2026 that's on the back market right now. So I imagine that's why Carlos Sainz was willing to settle down for 2 and possibly more years with Williams. because they showed him that they're putting a decent amount of money into their 2026 program so that it is able to flourish. But I will say that only history will tell. We really have no idea if Carlos Sainz just needed a seat and everyone else was rejecting him, or if this is a really good option for him. The only way we'll know is when that happens next year and possibly 2026. But till then, we'll just have to wait.